Welcome back to the FloTrack podcast. FloTrack podcast is at gmail.com, is the email address if you'd like to write in. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. I'm Kevin, joined by Lincoln Shrike on this Friday. You can watch the show FloTrack.org/FloTrack podcast. Lincoln, how are you doing today?
I was waiting for a joke. I thought you were going to have one. I assume you were bouncing it around in your head and just couldn't quite come up with it yet. No, I'm doing pretty good today. Little rainy outside. I enjoy a good rain, a nice rainstorm, especially how rare they are in Texas. We're getting excited for Thanksgiving in our house. Those vegan turkeys, you just can't live without them. I know you know that, Kevin. You're a big vegan turkey guy. So yeah, it's good times all around here. How are you?
Good. I don't see rain in the forecast over here. That's how far we live from each other, despite living theoretically in the same city, but you moved to the country now.
Yeah, well, I'm in a different county over here. So
are you in Williamson County?
Yeah, Williamson County. Okay. Where we had an entire show. We were a subject matter on the show, the infamous show Live PD. We had to reelect a different sheriff because our sheriff was a little corrupt. So it's the Wild West out here, Kevin. But one day I'll get you out to visit old Taylor, Texas, the home of my family and the birthplace and I guess the growing up home of Fred Curley. It's just a great town. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Two legends right there. I'd love to come out. Yeah. I mean, I would have to know several days in advance because it is a several-hour drive out there to Texas.
It's 40 minutes.
It's 40 minutes. On today, that's 40 minutes in Texas is a long time because you're out in the open road, you get to a lot of thinking. Yeah. Okay. On today's show, we're going to talk about windows open and windows closed for some top athletes. The people really liked your Wade Van Niekerk take a few days ago. So we're going to run that back, maybe with a little bit more nuance here. And we have a list of athletes here. All of them are prominent. Most of them are US-based. But the question for all of them is, has the window closed on them winning a major championship medal? And major championship, I'm defining as Olympics and outdoor world championships. We're not talking relays either. We're talking about individual medals here. So I will go one by one here, and I will just let you tee off basically. So I hope you're ready to carry this episode, Lincoln.
I'm excited. I know I'm the expert on deciding when careers are over with. I've put a wrap on Wade Van Niekerk's career. I assume he's planning his retirement press conference any day now.
Quite the contrary.
No, he's making graphics. He's so mad that I said that he was done. He's like, he is either one, found somebody that knows how to make graphics for him that says he's not done, or he's like, three options. He already knew how to make graphics, which, a millennial, probably a decent likelihood. Or three, he's so mad, he's like, screw it. I've never opened up Photoshop. I'm figuring out how to do this to make a graphic that says I am not done. So three options there. Either all of them are entertaining and hilarious in their own right. But yes, I've put my face out there, my neck out there, if you will, to decide when these athletes are done. Many times I'm misguided and wrong, but I'm honored that you're trusting my expertise enough for me to offer up the opinion of if these athletes' windows have closed or if they're still open.
Yeah, he's like, listen, that guy with the stupid hats in front of the paintings every day, he's gone on long enough unanswered. I'm going to Photoshop. This cannot stand. Take your hat off. Okay. Yeah. Athlete number one. I want to know, has the medal window closed for Mo Farah?
Okay. So here are a couple things. I'm on record within the last year, embarrassingly enough, saying that I thought Mo Farah was going to win the gold medal in the 10,000. Now, a couple things. That's wrong. One. Two, Joshua Cheptegei was not fully realized at that point. Now he is fully the greatest distance runner on earth. Maybe save Eliud Kipchoge, but the point is he's pretty close to unbeatable right now in the 10,000. And then there's also Jacob Kiplimo. So that take is wrong. So the question is can he still win the bronze medal? And before I answer that, I need you to explain to me like a kindergartner, and I know you're not watching it maybe because you don't live in Britain, but I need you to explain to me like I'm a 5-year-old, what is going on in the reality show? Is he running? Is he training during the process of this show? Is this like a Survivor type setting where he's out and can't go back to normal life? Like what's your understanding of what he's doing right now in the show?
I got a download on the show last night, actually, from a listener in Great Britain who fancies himself as a reality TV expert. So basically, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here is a huge deal in Great Britain. In terms of advertising, it does Super Bowl in the US type numbers. So Mo Farah obviously got paid a lot of money to be on the show. This season, because of the pandemic, they did not put it in a far-flung jungle. It's in a castle in Wales that is quite run down, and there are a series of challenges, not too different from what I understand from Survivor. As for his training, I do not think he's getting to train that much. I think we'll hear more about that later. But and my source did not tell me this, but per Wikipedia, the window of shooting is only 2 weeks. Basically.
So maybe just taking this time off.
Yeah. Taking 2 weeks off is not unheard of. There was a clip that came out this morning from the show that showed him sticking his hand into a unknown crevice and being greeted by something gross and him screaming and the hosts laughing at him. And it looks like a good time all around. I'm going the other way on this. The British media probably thinks this marks the end of Mo as a serious medal threat. I'm going the other way. I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered for him. Gets to loosen up, gets to relax. How hard is kicking in the final lap of a 10,000 after you've put your hand, elbow deep into cockroaches?
Wow. That is definitely the zag to most people's zig there, Kevin. I don't. Now that I know it's just a 2-week thing and it's not like if he survives all these challenges and is the winner, he's there for 40 days and he loses 80 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
I know it's not that type of a situation. Then I'll still say his window's open. His performances, who could forget his hour world record? I mean, who could honestly ever forget that? It was such an honor I'll remember where I was when I watched that. His window has not closed. Even though he'll be whatever it is, 38, even though he's participating in reality TV over in Britain right now, his window is not closed. And I should say, I remember you say that show is popular in Britain. It may not have been as popular in the US, but that was a show for a while in the US. They brought it over. I don't remember who all was on it other than the Heidi and Spencer of The Hills fame. I remember they were on it. So it was a show for a while in the US. I remember watching it when I was a kid. Just didn't catch on, I guess, like it has over there.
Well, as with most things related to television, sometimes the Brits just do it better than the Americans. I think we have a large enough sample size to conclude that. I am with you. I do not think his window is closed. Surely Cheptegei has vaulted to the top of the heap. But past that, has anybody this year really distinguished themselves? You could say Kiplimo as well, too, but it's not as if anybody else has really cemented themselves as being an Olympic medal lock. So I think there's at least one spot still there. And hey, championship races are his bread and butter. We'll see what he can do. We'll see what he can do in that setting. If Cheptegei didn't break, and this is a big if Cheptegei didn't break those world records this year, would any of our priors have changed about the 10,000 for the men?
No, obviously that's a tremendous if, right? But it's all about what his competition has done this year, with Kiplimo beating Cheptegei in the half and winning the world title, and then obviously Cheptegei in the 5 and the 10. I mean, that's just. I mean, I guess it's not out of the question that Mo Farah could still win. It's just you imagine 3 years away from the track or whatever it's been, primarily focused on the roads, that it's kind of done that. And when you compare someone, yes, he's got all these medals, but when you compare someone that's doing reality TV to Chep, the guy who just got done breaking world records, it's kind of like, nah, I kind of like the guy who's 24 and just ran 12:35 and 26:11 over the guy who's pumping up his celebrity over there in Britain. I just, it's not out of the question, however, that Mo is definitely not a medal, and he would it be stunning if he won gold? I mean, not if you look at the fact of how good he's been previously. Was it stunning when Michael Jordan came back after whatever it was? I mean, it wasn't a 3-year thing and was still the best player in the NBA? No, it wasn't stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, so chances are certainly still high that he gets a medal.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Next athlete is somebody you tried to trade for, in your episode with Gordon when you were trying to accumulate the best sprint team. You said, you know what? I'm putting a lot of assets into getting LaShawn Merritt onto my fictitious track team. He appeared once this year in 2020. Actually, twice, because this does not include the AP Ranch meet that we know he ran in. But one real race this year where he ran 45.98. In 2019, he ran 45.82, only raced 3 times. In 2018, ran 4 200s and then a couple relay legs, and that was it. And in 2017, he went out in the semifinals of the World Championships, and that year he had a PB of 44.78. Of course, 2016 was his last medal winning season, a really good season for him. Bronze in Rio, also made the Olympic final in the 200. I don't know if you remember that one, Lincoln. That's the one where he ran 1974 in the trials, in the semis of the 200, and then came back and ran 1979. So it's been, if you want to call 2016 his last really good year, then it's been several years now for LaShawn Merritt, who is 34 years of age.
Yeah, and I would say, he was still relevant, obviously made a team in 2017. It is certainly a stretch, and I will say his window has closed, even though I just traded him and building my new Bowerman track sprint squad with LaShawn Merritt. I'm kind of the 2009 or whatever it was, Brooklyn Nets, mortgaging my future for a bunch of old heads. LaShawn Merritt, I mean, he's still running. It's possible. But at 34, and I mean, 34-year-old 400-meter runners typically don't thrive. We know he's been good since 2007. It's just been a long time, and he's extended his career longer than most people would think he has. And certainly if he's still planning on another run at the Olympics, which it appears he is, I think he's played the last couple of years well in the sense that just take it real slow, stay healthy. And maybe he hasn't stayed healthy. Maybe that's the issue. But I think his window's done. I think that's pretty clear. This gets also back to, would it surprise me if he made another Olympic team? Not really, because the drop off, I think, after Norman and Curly is considerable. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. Because who made it? Was it Nathan Strother that was the third guy last year? I mean, he didn't make a world championship final. There's guys with potential there, but the drop off is significant after 2. So it wouldn't stun me if he got that third spot. But as far as being able to medal, I think that's gone. And it's been a great career. No fault in that. But yeah, I think his window's closed.
Yeah, the standard that we're measuring this by is medals, and I think it would be a big accomplishment at this stage of his career to make the team. Norman, Curly, 1, 2, unless something crazy happens, then there's a lot of people competing for that third spot. But then when you go international, you have to throw in Stephen Gardner in that mix. You have to throw in potentially Wade Van Niekerk into that mix.
We're not throwing in people who are done, Kevin. We're not throwing in people who are done. I don't know where. No,
that was your take. That was your take. Yeah. Take me off the Photoshop, Wade. Put Lincoln's face right on there. And Zambrano, the bronze medalist. My point being, there's enough of an international presence in the 400 right now that when you combine that with Norman and Curly, the math isn't there for a merit medal. So make the team, definitely a possibility. And that would be a great success, getting a medal. I agree with you. Going to be tough for LaShawn Merritt. Let's move on.
Okay.
Jenny Simpson.
Yeah, this is like the ultimate. Which way are you going to go here?
I know which way I'm going, but I'll let you go first.
She's still running fast. She's still going to make the Olympic team. She ran 3:58 in the last race of the season. She's 34 now. She had even her shortened season was good this year. She didn't run any 15s, but she ran 8:51 in the 3K, a 14:58 indoors. She's still a great athlete. There's no obvious signs of decline, so this is tough. It has to do more at the top right now in the 1500, and you look at the people who have run really, really fast, and Houlihan's better than her right now in the U.S. Hassan is obviously fantastic. We don't know if she'll be in the 1500, but she won the world title in 3:51. That's out of range for Jenny Simpson if that's how the race plays out. And if Kip Yegon's going full bore, if Laura Muir. I just tend to think that last year's race at Doha was an anomaly and will return at the Olympics to something more familiar around the 4-minute range in a race, particularly if Sifan Hassan does just do the 5K and 10K, which I know is what you expect. So I will say her window is still open, because I think when it returns to more of a tactical type of a setting, she's the best. She's the best at that, and she still is fit. She ran 3:58 last year in that final. That was not the type of race where she's going to be able to thrive. But that, like I said, that scenario happening again, I think is a slim chance, and she can still win a medal, absolutely, if this is a 3:57 to 4:02 type of a race, which I would expect would be the case.
You nailed it. You got it exactly right. You hit all my points there. Listen, she's made 10 teams in a row. 10 teams in a row, going back to 2007. I'm not picking against her to finish top 3 at the Olympic trials. And then she's going to get into these Olympic games, and she's going to work her Jenny Simpson magic. She's going to get her way into the final, and then she can get a medal. She can get a medal precisely for the reasons that you said. If Sifan Hassan is in the 5 and the 10 and not in the 1500, I think that race comes back down to earth a little bit, and her tactical acumen becomes that much more important. And even if the race is quick, but not as quick, I still like her chances, because she's running 3:58 still. She's still in tremendous shape. You could shake up the old snow globe and come up with a bunch of different scenarios for how last year's race finished. Like, there's a world in which she finishes 5th and not 8th. Who are we really confident in the 1500? We're confident in if Hassan doesn't run, Sagai, Kip Yegon, Muir, Houlihan, Gabrielle Debus-Stafford, but she could be right there. Yeah. She could be right there in that group. Yeah. Injuries happen. People don't make it through to the final because of fluke situations. I think her window is still very much open to medal. So you got 100% on that one for me, Jason. Or Lincoln, sorry.
That's wrong podcast. Same Cubs, Cubs fan, wrong guy though. That's okay. It happens. You do too many podcasts. I think that's the
yeah. I can't keep my Cubs fans straight here. Okay. Yeah. Ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna throw in a bonus one right now. One that's not on the list, but that we should have included, and I don't know how we forgot her. Allyson Felix.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good one. That's hard. Women's 400 is 2 medal spots are gone. So let's look at there. Can Allyson Felix?
You're assuming they run the 4. So you're assuming Miller Weibo runs the 400 because she's talked before about just doing the 2.
I mean, are you really going to criticize Salwa Eid Nasser like this criticize World Athletics for allowing her to compete? You're really going to run 48:37 and have this icy relationship with your rival and then just not run the 400? I think you have to, if you're
I don't
Shawnee
think one thing
Miller-Wabo and you
anything
think,
to do with the other.
I think if you think Salwa Eid Nasser doesn't deserve to be at the Olympic Games, and she's going to be defending her 400 meter Olympic title, she's going to be in the 400. That would be ridiculous. She has to come back after running 48:37. I think
she
so.
might, but those aren't the reasons why. The reason what you do is you find the clearest path to the gold medal because they screwed you over with the schedule and you can't do both. So is it easier in the 4 or is it easier in the 2 for her? I think it's much easier in the 200 because Salwa Eid Nasser in the 400.
I agree with that.
Assuming she's eligible to run, which she is right now. Anyway, we're talking about Felix. Go ahead. Okay.
I was encouraged actually by what I saw from Allyson Felix last year. She had a baby in late 2018, and then by the summer of 2019, she was improving. And we know her record. It's been pretty spectacular. I thought the limited appearance she ran, I know it was like a 150 in virtual race, but I thought she looked okay. So I think the window is cracked. I don't think it's open. I think it's still cracked. We need various levels of how open the window is. It's not wide open for sure. I just think it's possible that she can still break 50 seconds. And, that means she's got a shot at a medal, because we remember the bronze medal finisher in the 400 last year in Doha was way back. It's not like it's like bang, bang, bang. It's if those two run, it's those two up front and then a fight for everybody else for the bronze. And I think that's still a possibility for Allyson Felix if she continues on this trajectory that she was on coming off the pregnancy, which was a very difficult situation, which she kind of chronicled. I think it's cracked. It's not open. It's not wide open because, her career is long in the tooth at this point. She's getting up there in age for a sprinter. But I think it's still there's still a chance that she can get the bronze in Tokyo.
The number you're looking for is 1.10 seconds. That was the gap from Shawnee Miller-Wabo to Shericka Jackson, silver to bronze. Now, the bad news for the Allyson Felix fans out there is Shericka Jackson still ran 49:47, which is a very fast time.
Yeah.
It's just the women who went 1-2 put up historical performances. But Allyson Felix, her PR 49.26, so she doesn't have much wiggle room there. She's only run under 49.6 3 times in her entire career. You go farther down that final, Lincoln, into 4th, you have Wadeline Jonathan from the U.S., 49.60, Phyllis Francis, 49.61. So it's going to be a tight squeeze. Now, there was a gap there back to 6th, 7th, and 8th. But she is benefiting. Felix is benefiting from the fact that the women's 400 in the U.S. right now isn't as deep as it has been in prior years. Jonathan, yes, looks good. Phyllis Francis looks good. I think you got to keep an eye out for Shakima Wembley. Lena Irby is on the come up. There's going to be somebody who's 19 or 20 who's really good. But if she can make her way onto that team, obviously I think she's going to be able to make that final, and then she's in business. And again, if Miller-Wabo doesn't run and there's an injury, something going Felix's way, I think a crack is a good way to describe just how open this window is.
Yeah, and I think there's also a decent chance if we're looking at the Doha race. I mean, everybody PR'd that we're talking about, even Phyllis Francis, the 2017 world champion. Decent chance we don't ever see a race like that again. Everyone was a product of the 2 women ahead of them. You're chasing them, running for your life. That doesn't mean they can't run that fast again, but that felt like a once in a lifetime race. 48:14 is unconscionable. And so she may not need to be like Allyson Felix of 2015 to, I think everyone understands that, but she doesn't need to necessarily run 49.6 to get a, or 49 whatever it was, 7 or to get a medal. So she might have to, and that's why it's a crack, because it's like I don't really know if it's possible. But with the understanding that last year was just a foundation building season in her comeback, and that, you know, she's Allyson Felix and has been outstanding since 2003 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I'm still I have a little faith behind her that she can get this done and get a medal in Tokyo.
Next one, Justin Gatlin.
Mm-hmm. You have to say it's still open. I mean, he just got a silver, and Christian Coleman is not going to be at the Olympics in all likelihood. So, I mean, you could make the argument that the window's still open for a gold medal. I mean, it's absolutely still open. You know, there's a world in which he's the Olympic champion at age whatever it is in 2020. Was he going to be 39, 38? I mean, you could make the case that he could win the Olympic title. Just when you remove Coleman, when you have Lyles, who isn't proven, he's proven, but he's not consistent, I think, in the 100. Justin Gatlin is consistent. Now, he's really old, but he has not shown
39
to me
next year. I'm not too far behind him, so I don't appreciate your characterizations of his age, but go ahead. He'll be 39 next year.
Okay. As a sprinter, though, as somebody who won the 2004 Olympic title, I was in middle school when he won an Olympic title. I have 2 children and a mortgage now, and he's still arguably the best active sprinter in the 100 meters right now. It's insane. I know some people will be like, well, here, let me show you why, you know, he's this way, and I could listen to that argument. But no, his window is not closed for any color of medal.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, next up, Matthew Centrowitz.
This is another tough case. I feel like I can't say his window is closed just because of all the reasons I gave for Simpson, all the reasons I gave for Allyson Felix. But gosh,
I think Simpson is the best comp because the 1500 is so weird. So you're basically betting on, can he get into a Olympic 1500 meter final or World Championship 1500 meter final again, which means he's have to make the team and make it through the rounds, because if he gets there, it's silly to count anybody out.
So Centro is like 31, I think, now. And I look at the case of saying, is he done? Yeah, he still is going to be in position to make finals at the Olympic level and the World Championship level. I look at this from 2015. He was a non-factor in the 2015 World Championship final, finished 8th, I believe, and then comes back next year and wins the Olympic title. Now, can he do that again? Probably not, because I think obviously 2016 was his peak season. And he also got a perfect race. It was a 350 race. He's probably not going to get a 350 race again with Timothy Chariot. So I think the window is closed for him for gold, but he was still competitive in 2019 and a master tactician, as we like to brand him as. No, his window has certainly not closed in my estimation. It's going to be awfully tough for him to get a medal, I think. Because I'm just trying to track down the
I got him right here.
The results from Doha. But we have no idea if McAloofy's going to be there. I assume he's going to be there. But okay, go ahead.
Chariot, guaranteed probably to beat him. McAloofy, not a guarantee because we don't know if he's going to be there. Lewandowski, not a guarantee. Ingebrigtsen, maybe.
Yeah.
Jake Whiteman, he can beat Jake Whiteman. Josh Kerr, he can beat Josh Kerr.
Although Josh Kerr has never lost, I believe, to Matthew Centrowitz.
Sure, but when you compare him to someone like Chariot, who is clearly on a pedestal, there's beatable guys in front of him. Now there's people behind Centro who could beat him, such as Craig Engels, who beat him at USA's. But yeah, I feel like I'm going soft and keeping the window open for a lot of these athletes, but I still think it's a possibility. I'm not going to rule Centro out.
Yeah, it's just not based on his, his record. He's just been too good, and he's been around for a long time, but that's because he was good at 21. I don't see it. I just don't necessarily see it being over for him. He could have a Nick Willis type run. I mean, I doubt it. Most people don't, but it's certainly not impossible. Now the jury's still out. He hasn't gotten a medal under the Jerry system. The jury's out if this more distance training is good for him as opposed to the more speed focused stuff. We'll see. But even if he's a B- Centro, he's still going to be in the Olympic final. So you can't count him out.
Yeah, the 1500, as we've said time and time again, has a much heavier tactical element than any other event in running right now. Thus, you can strategize your way out of situations, and you can switch your style of racing up a little bit and maximize your returns. It's like a starting pitcher who loses their fastball but develops a different type of pitch later on in their career and can still win games. They can still win games using their mind a little bit. I think Centro can still do that through the rounds and through the race itself. There's such a high amount of gamesmanship in the 1500. So I'm not closing the window on him. Yeah. Jordan developed that fadeaway late in his career. Maybe Centro has something similar up his sleeves. Evan Jaeger, who had a huge streak of U.S. steeple titles that was snapped last year because of an injury, but he's got 2 medals, Lincoln. Silver in 16 and bronze in 17. What do you think?
Yeah. He looked good, not great in the Bowerman Invitationals, whatever you want to call those, in this past summer. So I'm confident he's still physically fit. We haven't seen him in a steeple in a while, but he's still running well at the mile, the 1500, the 5000. Only 31 years of age. So, I kind of like my athletes. If they're younger than you, Kevin, I still think they're pliable, except for in the case of Justin Gatlin, who's older than you. Most athletes, they fall along that line. You'd be right on the edge of retirement if you were an athlete. Evan Jaeger, though, still in my territory around 31. He's still good to go. I mean, not to bring up a touchy subject, much more important to legal matters than to Evan Jaeger's career, but it doesn't look like Kinseslas Kipruto is going to be around. And that's the gold medal favorite being out of there. So, Jaeger, despite being injured last year, is still a medal contender. Absolutely.
I'm having a tough time with this one because the rise of Ethiopia in the event too. And Kenya's going to send three really good runners, regardless of who it is. But Girma lost by 1/100th of a second last year.
Yeah. And to my eyes, won. They have another. Yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Wale was 4th. You have El Bakali of Morocco. I think I might be closed for a medal. I think he's going to make finals again, but I think it took him he was awesome those years. You watched him very closely when he got silver and bronze, and he had what I thought were good races in both of them. Now I know he probably second guessed some moves he made, or didn't have the close exactly that he wanted to have in those races, but thought that was peak Jaeger, and that was silver and bronze. So I think I'm going to say it's closed.
Wow, I'm stunned by this, and I understand the desire to have a window closed because all of our windows in our house are open at this point. But
no, mine are very much closed. I don't have fancy windows like you. But
yeah,
mine are glued shut.
You lose the main guy. So Kipruto, all likelihood, not going to be there, and it's not like these guys are going around running 7:55 or anything. I mean, I don't think he's been surpassed as far as the speed element is concerned in this race. What was the World Championships last year? An 8:05 race or something? I mean, I could be mistaken, but I just don't see that at all. I mean, are you seeing drop off? Are you seeing 8:01? Okay, my bad. But, I still think he can run 8:01. I mean, he's, I still think that's a possibility. And I don't know. I don't think you can close this at all. He's still relatively young. He still ran well in 2020 in all these different off races. I just think there's a chance he's coming back and he can run 8:01. I don't think you can close it.
All right, you can keep your window open. I just don't know. We haven't seen him back in a steeple yet. You're right. He ran the 13:12, 15 or 5,000, which was a solid performance from him. It's mostly what I'm doing is I'm comparing him to what I saw from him before, and those years before when he medaled, he was firing on all cylinders. He was fantastic across the board, right? And I think it's just really hard to get back to that point. And yes, the event may not have gotten harder, but I don't think it got any easier, even if the gold medalist isn't there. I think Girma, I think El Bakali are gold medal capable. And again, Kenya's going to send 3 people who can run 8:02 or faster. And it's going to be tough. So I think he'll make the final. I think he'll make the final again, but the steeple doesn't allow for the same amount of randomness that a 1,500 meter final was, or does, excuse me. So, I mean, I think if the races played out in different ways, I would have my Centrowitz and Jaeger pick swapped, but we know how a steeple goes. It's pretty much honest for the most part in these championship races. At least it's been in recent years. And then you have someone like Kemboy throwing a huge, ridiculous last lap, but they're pretty dead set in how they go out. It's not like they're not going out at 9 flat pace for the first mile.
Wouldn't that be fun? And just falling over stepping over the barriers. I'm just I would watch out, Kevin, and I can speak from experience having graphics indirectly made about you about I'm myself.
Not saying he's done. I'm saying he's going to have some. I'm not going as far.
He's you can expect some wind, him standing by a wide open window graphics coming. I think it's happening soon. So watch out. I mean, Okay. I mean, I guess I would have to tee it up and say Kevin thinks Evan Jaeger's done. But yeah, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
For the record, I don't think he's done. I just think his medal window is closed, which is what the argument was, right?
Fair.
Right. Okay.
Fine.
Last one. Jordan Hussein. What do you think?
Yeah. Gosh, she was.
And for this, I'll say top 3 in a major marathon too, not just Olympics, obviously, because the marathon's different.
It's another situation where she's, obviously she had to change coaches. Her previous coach was banned. But a combination of not being able to stay healthy and no positive results since she switched over to her coaching advisor being Paula Radcliffe leads me to say her window has closed. The marathon is just so competitive.
Just because she switched coaches?
And lack of health. I just, there's been no positive results since she's gone over to Paula Radcliffe, and you can attribute that to health. I just think what we saw the 2 times in Boston and in Chicago, I think those moments are probably in the past. She doesn't have a ton of time to get this figured out, right? And I know she's going to be in Valencia December 6th or whatever it is, but she runs the half, wasn't very good in Eugene. I am not optimistic that she can be back based on what I've seen the last year or so. And again, most of it's health related, but some of it I'm concerned, like, can she succeed without Alberto Salazar? I know we kind of joke about that stuff, but I haven't seen it yet. And I think the window's probably closed for her just based on the depth in the marathon. And, we just don't typically, I could be wrong, we don't see people have just a couple down years in the marathon, then all of a sudden get right back to where they were. It's just, it doesn't tend to happen. It's kind of like, you need to be consistent in the marathon. Yeah. Okay. But is he the exception or is he the rule? I mean, I think the window's closed for him.
Well, he's obviously the exception because most people, if you run poorly, that's your baseline at a certain point. But I'm just saying it can happen.
Yeah.
I disagree. I want to wait. I'm going to wait at least until December 6th when we see her in Valencia to see how fast she goes there. I think we've seen a lot of people get really good at the marathon late in their career. Now, she went to it earlier than some of these other people, but it's possible. And she has the advantage here of, if she is healthy, once the pandemic passes, of racing twice a year and getting 2 opportunities a year to finish in the top 3, which these other athletes don't have. And in many cases, the fields might be split a little bit. If you're asking me, is she going to become a gold medalist? No, but I think she could get top 3 for sure. And if the field breaks right, she might even get a chance to win a Boston. I mean, after what Linden did, we can't really rule anything out in the marathon, and what Yuki Kawauchi did. So I think she'll still be in it. She just needs to get the health part figured out, which is no small task. But do you think she'd be running Valencia if she wasn't healthy? That's not the type of marathon you sign up for just because you agreed to it the year before and it's in the US and it's this big prestige thing. Like, you could easily drop out of that one, especially this year. You could easily drop out of that one a couple months before and no one would pay you any mind.
Yeah, I mean, she might be feeling the pressure to have a good one after obviously dropping out of Chicago last October and then finishing whatever it was, 26th at the trials. I should amend my statement a little bit. She did finish 3rd in April of 2019 in Boston, so it's not like it's been a 2 straight years of nothing. I just have been concerned enough by her having to drop out after whatever it was, 2 miles or something in Chicago last October, 2 Octobers ago, I guess. And then, just being totally out of the picture in the trials.
She was clearly hurt there, right? And that's the thing where you take the risk.
That to me speaks to an inability, like a very significant struggle to get healthy. If you have that issue in October and then you're not able to show up, I know marathon training is rigorous, but then you're not able to show up on the line health by late February, I'm concerned that there are just long-term issues that can't be fixed in the time of her career to which she would be able to be physically relevant in the marathon. I'm concerned there's long-term issues that she's not going to be able to escape.
Okay. Well, staying healthy in the marathon is a huge part of it because there's all sorts of people who would have been legends in the marathon if they were able to extend their career. And some of the legends that we do have in the marathon are a byproduct of just longevity and knocking on the door over and over and over again, and then eventually getting that signature win towards the end of their career. I think she's still got a couple good races at least left in her in the marathon, but we shall see. As you mentioned, Valencia Marathon on December 6th is her next race. We'll leave it there. I think we got through a good list. Do you want to amend any of your picks here, or window close, open decisions here?
No, I'm happy. I'm happy with my my picks. I should say this podcast brought to you by Anderson Windows. Check out your new window. No, I'm just kidding. Get 10% off all window. No. That'd be funny if that was the case, though, if this was brought to you by a window manufacturing company. No, I'm good with it. I'm good. More windows open. I think this is more optimistic than we thought. I think you probably predicted that I would just slam the window shut on everybody, and then have you be the good cop and me be the bad cop. It doesn't always play out like that. So I'm happy with my selections.
Well, you only had it closed for Merritt and Nassé, right? And then the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other 5 you had open. And then I had it Jaeger. I had Jaeger and Merritt, and then open for everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I can respect that.
Mm-hmm. One last one. Wade Van Niekerk. Go. No, just kidding. Okay. We'll leave it there. FloTrack podcast at gmail.com. Thanks to Alon for producing. Have a great weekend, everyone. Lincoln and Gordon will be back on Monday to kick off our Thanksgiving week series of episodes. Talk to you guys next time.
Bye.